Welcome back again to our complete-ish course construction series. This one's going to be pure time-lapse work on 8. Where we left off, we've got this kind of big bottle template. I don't know how much I love all the fairway out to the right. I need to have a look at putting crowds on it and things like that. There's lots of deliberations. This has to be managed with care. This has to be managed with care. But I do like the potential that this one offers, and I think it's a great change-up hole. And the land movement's really interesting. So I'm excited to dig into this one. Yeah, time lapse away. Enjoy. Okay, so as you can see, I've been drawing out a few measure tool lines because I've gotten to the point where I'm not totally sold on this idea. And usually when I get this far into a hole, I'm feeling like, yeah, it's a bit contrived. Or it's too straightforward. That's usually a point where it's best for me to try something slightly different. And we can always exit without saving. So we're never going to lose where we're at currently. The problem I have at the moment is there's parts of the hole I like. I like the land movement up here and how potentially you get a 3 wood to the high plateau, potentially run down, maybe drivable if I wanted to set up a pin there, or if I wanted to bring a T forward one day. Like there's options with that. What I don't love is this shot because it just feels a bit too trivial. I think it would be fun in real life. I think in this game it's just a nice easy curl a 3-iron around here and then hit on, and I think I can make that more challenging. I also don't like the way that it interacts with the barranca and the fact that you've got this low part and then it just feels like it's a touch awkward, and I'm not great with that. I'm sure there are designers who could pull this off, and I'm not saying I can't, but I don't feel as comfortable, and I don't feel it also really fits the course. There's a lot of camber and uneven stances and things like that. There's not this kind. It's a bit of a curveball in the way that the green is, but I feel more confident with the green than I do this bit. So what we're going to do is we're just going to play around with other ideas. Now what I'll try is a couple of measure tool things. I'll try messing with the sculpting, just simplifying. I think is generally a good idea with this sort of a hole. I know what I want, and we basically want to divide this area from this area and that angle, but I think I can do it in a more coherent manner. So we're going to play with this and see where we get to. Okay, so as mentioned at the start of this little section, usually my hunches on this are quite good. And if I'm fighting something I'm feeling it's not right, moving to a different idea is usually the way forward, at least for me. I far prefer this. I think it's a much more interesting use of the barranca. You're sloping towards it, and it also leads to it being far less of either here or here. There was nothing of interest to this tee shot down to here other than could you spot the angle and hit it. Whereas now, trying to get to this spot, well, that requires you hitting the slope the right way, running down here, or what club you use, line and length, things like that, hitting over the spine, which we need to soften and work with a little bit, but get too aggressive, you're running down here into potentially heavy rough, potentially a bunker, haven't quite decided yet. If you wanted to go for driver while you're dealing with a very slopey fairway entrance, still not sure about this little mound or kicker slope, will probably soften that. Or lose it altogether. I don't know that it works. I like the green coming in from this side, so we'll probably keep that high, but I think it can run up to that rather than mound and then run down. And I think the way that wedge shot in is going to look, like the slight extra bit of elevation really adds to it as well. Might be a touch too high, we'll play with it, but I think this has much more potential than what we had previously and just much more interest. Now, the only thing that I'm clocking at this point is we've got a very heavily cambered right to left fairway on a short hole, which is kind of what we've done on 3, albeit a little bit different. And the green complex being very different means that it's kind of a similar thing. And we want to use slope a lot. But the fact that you can hit over and through the other side makes this slightly different as well. And the green complex and shape, I think, give it legs of its own. However, it does mean that when I find another shortfall or we can't use this trick anymore, we can't do hard right to left camber on another hole that's kind of inland. So yeah, that's a time lapse. Okay, so this feels like the sort of natural point to wrap up this episode, but I'm not entirely sure how long it's been running for with all the time lapses. I won't really know any of that until I edit. Um, I think this is in a good place now. It's got much more interesting land movement. It still allows those same two options, but in a much more interesting way rather than just hit it here or hit it here, which is one of the things we're going for. The planting is obviously all temporary. It's just to get a rough idea of how heights and things might work, so that when I do come to plant it, I don't have to do too much sculpting, hopefully. Um, what I'll probably do is plant out a little bit of it, move on to 9, look at how that layers, come back, mess around with some stuff. Yeah, I think it's mostly that. I think it's an interesting hole. I think it certainly offers a lot of variety, which is what I'm really after with this hole, because a lot of the others are going to be far more like, this is how you play it, this is the shot, this is the shot. This one, you have way more options as to how you go about it. So yeah, hopefully you found that interesting, and see you again soon.